What I want people to understand about me is that I'm a happy, healthy individual who is a wife, a career professional, a sister, an aunt, and an individual who advocates for the rights of individuals with disabilities so that there are services and programs available to them so that they have all the same opportunities as anyone else, access to housing, to transportation, and services that allow them to enjoy their communities as much as anyone else.
My memory is fuzzy about many things when I was 3. The day she came home from the hospital wasn't fuzzy for me. And she was my beautiful baby sister, and my mom and dad laid a blanket on the end of their bed and told me that I just needed to talk with my sister and love on my sister, and there were 2 things: don't touch the soft spot on her head and don't touch the bump on her back. And so I did enjoy being able just to talk with her and love her and touch her and just think how beautiful she was. Throughout our entire lives, we were blessed to be surrounded by extended family and community in wonderful ways. I saw just their goodness and their graciousness to us and helping in practical ways and being encouraging. And I remember my mom was in the Junior Women's Club, and the ladies would come when Kelly needed therapy, and they would take her to the local mall and let her walk in the mall. And I just thought that was such a wonderful thing that they would do that. Kelly would look forward to those times because those were really independent times, somewhat of us, where she got to go be with friends and do great and fun things. So I just saw the goodness of people reaching out in wonderful ways to our family.
In my 51 years of life, I have received so many gifts and so many blessings from family and friends throughout the years. And the very first one, I think, is to have been born into the family that I was. From the very beginning, my parents had expectations for me. And I think because of that, I learned as an adult to have expectations of and for myself. And I think that is so, so important because oftentimes when individuals are told that they can't, they shouldn't, they won't, they carry those lessons with them through life, and it sets up their expectations of themselves. When you are born with your disability, your life is about finding ways to do things that you want to do a little bit differently, but in the way that you can do them. And someone who has had a disability later in life, their challenges are around understanding how they used to do things and maybe missing how they used to do things, and challenged by finding new ways to do some of the same things that they used to enjoy, and sort of getting their life back, in the mode of getting their life back and getting back to the things that were important to them. People with disabilities have a lot of things to talk to you about other than their disability. It's not always appropriate to approach someone and automatically ask about their disability. We can talk about a lot of things. We can talk about my husband, we can talk about my job, we can talk about my chihuahua, but we don't necessarily have to start off with an individual just addressing, how'd you get in the wheelchair? What happened to you? Those are just kind of awkward ways to start a conversation with someone that you don't know. It's so important to respect an individual's personal space for anyone, but especially for an individual with a disability. People mean to be helpful. They want to help. They want to assist, but there's a way to go about that. And I always laugh and tell people I've almost been killed by some very helpful people. because people will do what they think is helpful automatically. And really, the correct thing to do is ask a person. If you want to assist someone, ask that person if they need your assistance. If they tell you they do, then wait and listen for the person to tell you what is most helpful, because your idea of what may be helpful may not be the most helpful thing for the individual. And respecting personal space is so critical, because if I'm getting in my car and you come running up to me to help me get my chair in my car, I'm hoping that that's what you're coming running up to me for, but I'm not quite sure. And so if you invade my personal space, just like anyone else, when you get on a crowded elevator, one more person gets on, you're very uncomfortable. And so is an individual with a disability, because they're not quite sure what your intentions are. And so it's always better to just ask and let the person direct you as to how to assist them. People oftentimes project how they think they would feel in someone's situation and react based on that. I was sitting in the mall one day, and I had driven myself to the mall, and I had shopped till I dropped, and I was having a great time and taking a break. And this gentleman comes up to me and he says, "Honey," he said, "I have all these aches and pains, and I hurt so bad, and I stumble my way to the breakfast table, and I have all these pills that I have to take with my breakfast, and I feel so bad and so sorry for myself. And then I look at somebody like you, and I realize I don't have anything to feel bad about." And he's got this big smile on his face, and I can tell that he meant to convey a compliment. He was not meaning to be hurtful in any way, but it kind of left me thinking, okay, I've driven myself to the mall, I've shopped till I've dropped, and I'm sitting here having an ice cream cone. What is it about me that's making this gentleman feel like my life is any less enjoyable than his? People feel like they would have less of a life if they had a disability. And that's an important point to make, is that people with and without disabilities find ways to enjoy life.